Update 2. Grandma started talking about applying for assistance from the government. We'd always been able to manage, but now we needed help. I didn't know much about how that worked, but I could tell she didn't want to do it. She was proud, and asking for help wasn't in her nature, but we didn't have a choice. I remember the day she went to the city office to apply. She came home with this big stack of papers, all these forms she had to fill out. And I could see the frustration in her eyes. "It's confusing," she said, sitting at the table, staring at all the paperwork. I sat down with her and helped as much as I could, but it felt overwhelming. Eventually, we got through it, and a few weeks later, we got the approval. I thought that would make things easier, but it didn't. It just made everything feel more real. We were now officially on assistance, and that felt like a loss in itself. As Grandpa's condition got worse, I could see the toll it was taking on Grandma. She was still working, still doing everything she could, but it wasn't enough. It never was. There was one night after Grandpa had another bad episode, where she just broke down. I'd never seen her like that. She sat at the kitchen table, her hands covering her face, and just cried. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to comfort her, to tell her everything would be okay. But I couldn't, because I didn't believe that myself. We were running on empty, and it felt like no matter how hard we tried, we were just sinking deeper. I was scared. Scared for Grandpa, scared for Grandma, and honestly, scared for myself. What would happen if we lost him? How would we manage? I had all these questions swirling around in my head and no answers. Then one day, after Grandpa had been in the hospital for a few days, we got the call. I don't remember who answered it, but I remember the silence that followed. The kind of silence where you just know something bad has happened. Grandpa had passed away. I didn't cry at first. I just stood there, numb, like my brain couldn't process it. He was gone. Just like that. And everything we'd been holding on to, all the hope that maybe he'd get better, was gone too. That night, Grandma sat with me on the couch. She didn't say much, just held my hand. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like a kid again. A scared, lost kid who didn't know what the future held. After Grandpa passed, everything felt strange. The house was too quiet, too empty. He had been sick for a while, but somehow we always hoped he'd come home again. When that didn't happen, I think both Grandma and I just felt kind of lost. It's not like we talked about it or anything, but the way we moved around the house, avoiding certain rooms, staying busy, it was obvious. I threw myself into work. I had graduated high school by then and had to put off college to help out at home. There was no way I was going to leave Grandma alone, especially not after everything she'd done for me, so I found a full-time job at a local store. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. And that's what we needed at the time. Grandma, though she was the one I worried about. She didn't complain. She never did. But I could see how tired she was. She was still working her part-time job, even after everything. And I knew she felt guilty. One day I came home from work and found her sitting at the kitchen table, staring at the stack of bills like they were about to jump up and bite her. I sat down across from her. "What's wrong?" I asked, even though I knew the answer. She just sighed and shook her head. "It's these bills, Jenny. We're managing, but barely. I'm just so tired." I didn't know what to say. I mean, I was tired too, but I wasn't going to say that. I had to step up. "Don't worry, Grandma. I'm working full-time now. Remember? We'll get through this." She gave me a small smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You're too young to be worrying about bills. This isn't the life I wanted for you." That hit me hard. I could tell she felt guilty, like she'd somehow failed me. But I didn't see it that way. She and Grandpa had raised me, given me everything they could. And now it was my turn to help. I wasn't going to let her carry all that guilt. "Grandma, you did everything for me. I wouldn't be where I am without you and Grandpa. Don't think for a second this is your fault." She nodded, but I could tell she wasn't convinced. After that, I made it my mission to work harder, take on more shifts, do whatever I could to make sure she didn't have to worry so much. It wasn't easy, but it was what I had to do. A few months went by, and things started to settle into a routine: work, bills, sleep, repeat. It wasn't much of a life, but it was ours.